Welcome back, Mosh Pit Podcast. We're here with Memoire today, and we're at the Mosaic in Folsom, one of our sponsors. And how you guys feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. How are you feeling, dude?
I'm feeling good. You know, we're not driving in the van anymore, so that's always nice.
We just stretch our legs a little bit. Yesterday was brutal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that tour life. That's what I want to do eventually with like the podcast is do tours.
Yeah.
Maybe like either like just go on my solo, like just doing tours with bands that are playing shows and shit, or going on a tour with a band that has like different openers every show and be able to do.
That'd be dope as shit.
Yeah.
I miss when people would do that on YouTube. Like, you don't really see that as much. Like, it's usually just like a local interview, you know what I mean? But like, it's cool to when people like have that idea and like execute it. So I think that'd be cool if you did that. A lot of people would probably watch that.
Yeah.
Especially because the opening acts like changing every time. It's cool to see how many people like do this seriously and love it and like what their perspectives are on where they are. You know,
Yeah.
that's why we like fell in love with the Everglade guys right away. Like getting to play their hometown and then like getting to develop a friendship over time. Like there's a lot of cool perspectives that I think you could tap in on.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
That's what I want, because it's just like that's what I like. My goal is this year is to like. Yeah, I get known in like California, but I want to be able to get like have bands in Vegas or have bands in Reno or have bands Texas, Florida, and like be able to go out there, not like just hey, next time you're in town on tour.
Yeah. Just go out and get it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know a lot of bands I've talked to, they're like, hey, can we do one with you, like just virtual? And like I could do virtual, that's not a problem, but I don't want to do virtual because I feel like when you're in person, it's more of a connection and you can have more of a conversation. You're not just staring at a computer screen going.
Yeah, I get that, yeah.
And no hate to the people that do that, but it's
100%.
just how I want to be. I want to be rawness. I like old school MTV days, going to Whiskey Go Go and doing shit like that, the Cat House. And
Need that shit.
tight.
Yeah, dude, that'd be sick. Yeah, of course.
but let's start it off. How did all of you guys meet?
Oof, that was a throwback. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, usually good with that. So, like, when we all met as friends, or just as like when we started the band?
As friends.
Okay, so I met him in high school. We were like 15, and I had never screamed in a band before. So, you know, when I heard he was looking for band members, I was like, oh, dude, I want to be in a hardcore band. I want to be in a metal band, you know. And so we met on the bus, and then I went to his house. And, you know, from there, I wasn't even good yet, you know what I mean? So, like, when he let me be in his band, I was like, oh, I have to step it up, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then we started our first band. And then eventually I met this guy because one of those bands that I was in with him was playing a show with his band. And then we all became, like, close friends, you know what I mean? After that, we would go to, like, Steak and Eggs after every show because, like, Vegas always has, like, a bomb-ass deal on that.
yeah,
But,
for a couple
yeah, we were like really good friends right off the bat, and he was in a completely different band. So when we finally got to be in a band together, it was just like we just knew it worked. You know what I mean? Like we knew it was going to be a good time, and yeah, you know,
because Memoire is like one of many projects that we've had over the last like 15 years.
Yeah.
And so back in the day, it was like fresh out of high school, but it's cool the way that music has kind of brought all of us together and like kept us in each other's lives together.
Yes.
Yeah,
100%
'cause
different
it's-
projects through different states. I mean, it's been crazy.
Yeah, because it's nice too. Like it's very refreshing to like meet a band that we're not just we're gonna meet each other and start a band. It's we know each other, and then now we're like, hey, let's do a band.
yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a different dynamic because you guys already know you guys are comfortable with each other.
Yeah.
It's not that learning process, that learning curve of starting a band and then butting heads of what this should be or how this should be.
Learning how a person is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that.
But next question, what is your dream venue and artist to perform with?
Well, I am a little biased. I always have wanted to play the Chance in Poughkeepsie, New York, because my name's Chance, and I was like, I have to. It's a bucket list. I have to play the Chance. But I don't even know like if it's a dope venue like per se. I'm sure that it is, but I don't know personally. Like I just like feel like I would love that. It would be fun.
Yeah.
But in terms of artists, like I want to play with Polaris more than anything. Like Polaris is one of my biggest influences.
They're one of mine too. I was gonna add
And
them
like
on
I
my
saw
mind.
them live in Seattle not too long ago, and it was one of the best shows I'd ever been to, and I was like, God, damn. Like, they played with Currents, and I was like, yo, like that lineup, like anytime that I see Polaris, Invent Animate, like any of that, like Silent Planet, that kind of like new wave metalcore that's out right now, all those guys are like really pushing the genre. So like to share the stage with any of them would be a real blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but that's
For me, like I forget what the stadium's called in the Philippines, but they have a huge scene out there, and that'd be freaking crazy if one day we'd be able to do that. But in regards to artists, I was gonna say besides Polaris, I'd probably say like Dayseeker or Alpha Wolf are mine.
Dang.
I think those are my top ones for sure, because freaking amazing.
Because Dayseeker and Polaris are coming to Vegas like a couple months after we get back. So you guys
crazy.
haven't seen this, and we'll put us on the bill. We'll be available.
Put us on the bill.
Dream venue, probably. I don't know. I want to, like, it's like a venue I could play, but I would do Chain Reaction just because so many bands have rolled through there.
Legendary.
Yeah, like you have to. And then which band? Probably like Under Oath, you know? Like Under Oath is just like so legendary, still so like I just saw them with Chance and yeah, like they still kick ass, and it's like, dude, I want to be able to go on stage and play like 20 songs when I'm like 50 years old, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I just feel like that's the band that like really started everything for me, like them and like Devil Wears Prada, and like there's a few other bands, but like, you know, Under Oath really stood out to me at first.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, damn, what is this, you know? But yeah, definitely Under Oath.
I remember when because I actually come from out here.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, I went to a Beartooth show.
Nice.
And it was like, back then it's not like the craziest lineup, but when you think of it now, you're like, holy shit, they all play together. Beartooth headline, and then Under Oath played before them, and then Knock Loose opened.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
Damn.
That's kind of a crazy line.
That's fucking nuts.
Dang.
I was like, back then you're like, okay, these are pretty cool bands, because they weren't even big yet. Like Under Oath and Knock Loose came out and set up their own stage,
That's crazy.
and then just started playing. So it's just like seeing them evolve and play all that shit. It's just like, I wish I got to, like, because I met Under Oath afterwards. I met Knock Loose like a year later, but it was just like, because I feel like Knock Loose blowed up after playing Lollapalooza. Everybody was just like, I think it was Lollapalooza, but they like
Coachella.
Oh, Coachella.
Yeah,
it was Coachella.
yeah.
It was Coachella.
Which is like, what?
Oh yeah, when they played Coachella, I was like, what?
But it makes sense. 'Cause
Yeah.
They're such a staple in like their niche now that it's
I
like.
wish that I was there just to see the non-Knocked Loose fans.
Exactly.
That were probably like, what is happening? Like,
they're all little like white blonde ladies drinking their White Claw with their long dresses. Like, who is that screaming?
Yeah, dude. Imagine how many fans they gained from that too. Is what's crazy.
oh
you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's probably people there like that were like, oh, I love this rock band. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, oh, okay, well, at least you gave it a shot. Like, that's probably what's the coolest part about playing like a festival like that is like, you know, you get all those new fans and traction from like people they wouldn't even have listened to you.
Yeah.
You know, even if their friend was like, check out this metal band. It's like, I don't listen to that. So it's cool because they probably see the energy that Knock Loose has, and they're like, damn, this is like just as good as a dubstep show or like a hip hop artist. Like, you know?
Well, I imagine there's probably quite a few people that like, the intro was crazy, but it also is probably wild to like a non-metal fan, because I can only imagine how the crowd was, like the people that were there to see Knocked Loose that just like tore it up, people that are just like out there having a good time at Coachella that are like, yo,
like, what is going on? No, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
Real quick, I'm gonna just turn down the audio real quick. There we go. I'm like hearing out there.
It's like, oh,
I'm like, oh shit. But
We start getting crowd killed.
continuing off of that, I like to ask bands, what is their favorite memory from a show they've went to or a show they've played?
Ooh. You want to start that off?
I don't even know.
Honestly, the last time that we toured, we played Portland, and that I think was like the most perfect show that we've played. And there was this like shared look of just like amazement, because we've played dozens of shows together as a band or as different bands, and so like all of us being dialed into the level that we were, I'll never forget like the moment that we were on stage knowing that we just fucking like crushed this set, and then looking at each other deciding if we were gonna play Devastate, the unreleased at the time new song that just came out, and we'd never played it live before. We were a little like, are we ready to debut it? And we were like, we're playing Devastate, right? And everybody was like, yes. And we were like, all right, let's go. And we just like crushed it immediately. And it was like 100% on Rock Band. It was the best feeling ever.
Yeah. I don't even know how that would feel like, because like a lot of bands, like they have like their sound that they're used to, and then they create a new album. And then now it's just like, I feel like I can't be in your shoes, but like you're starting something new, and then now you're going something, you're taking a risk on stage with something new. Because now like you got some people, especially if like you're used to playing local, you're used to being in front of people playing these songs, and now you're going to introduce them something new that you're not sure if they're going to like.
Yeah, and it is definitely an evolution of our sound.
Yeah, most definitely, especially if you compare it to how we started and like where we're at now. It's like, damn, all right, cool. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll never forget that show. That was a good one.
See, I was even thinking about just the other day at Seattle. Because so basically in Seattle last year we had played, I think, our worst show ever as a band, and just the other day going back to that same spot, same place, absolutely destroying it, and just like, this is hands down like the best set that we've done so far. Yeah, it was the redemption arc that we've been talking about, and that itself was like, this is legendary. Like, this tops it for me. So yeah,
that is.
I don't know about you, but
I think my favorite show that we've played so far is, it's like between like Seattle and the first show we ever played, like together as a band, which was also Seattle in the same place. But
crazy.
Like, so because the first time we played there, we last minute got told that we were going to open, and we didn't know. We just drove like 20 hours, so we were
Vegas
like,
to Seattle.
So like literally we got to the venue right at the beginning of load in, and we were like, uh-oh. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh man, like we have to play right now. And they're like, yeah. And I was like, dude, I haven't even like changed my pants. You know what I mean?
It was raining and everything too. I was like, oh.
And then we get on stage, and I'm like, all right guys, let's just play, and then we'll get off stage, and we'll we'll go get food, like, and it'll be fine. I was like, this first show is just gonna suck. And then literally like I fell in love with like Seattle crowds after that, because they just threw down so hard. They had no idea who we were. We were playing on a bill with only like pop punk and like weird like post rock bands like that were good, but like we just didn't fit on the bill. So I was like, let's just get out of the way so they can have their show. I didn't know we were combining like with another tour package. And then we played, and I was like, what just happened, you guys? Like, all those kids just threw down for us. And then, like, ever since then, we love playing Seattle. And then, yes, we did play, like, our worst show ever in Seattle last year. But a few days ago, when we got to redeem ourselves, it was, like, such a good feeling. And, Seattle, like, they will make you work for it. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate crowds like that. Like, and you would think that most crowds when you go on tour are going to make you like work for their reaction. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you get lucky, and then like, it's like 50-50. Like, if they start going off right during your intro, that's usually a really good sign. But like, if it takes like a song or two or three sometimes even, like, and you earn it, and they start getting down to your last few songs, it's like the best feeling. So I got to say my favorite show is definitely a tie between the two Seattle shows. Yeah.
I think that's valid.
That's just crazy though, how you guys started like that, going to like Seattle and shit.
Yeah, it was just sorry. No, it was just really fun to play our, like, because we had been on tour before in all our older bands, and we knew we could play out of state, and like we prefer playing out of state because like it's a little more nerve-wracking when like all of your friends are in the crowd, and like at any moment in time they could just like say something that's like random and like throw off your mood on stage. Like, it feels more professional when you're like playing to other people. So I was like, oh fuck it, let's like play our first show you know, out of state, you know, and like just really see like how we stack up, you know what I mean? Like,
because nobody's showing face when you're in a different city. You know, it's like they don't know you, they don't know anything about you except that you're this band that you're on the bill. You know, so it's different than when you're in your hometown. Because some people are just coming to support, and they may not like the music, they may not throw down to the music or whatever. Not that that's a prerequisite, but it changes the energy because the people at an out-of-state show are for sure there for you to some degree. Even if they're there to support their friend's band or whatever, they're going to see you by proxy. And when they show up for you and are like, that was awesome, like, we don't know you guys, but that was so cool, and then you go 3 years in a row, and those people come back and they bring their friends. And it's like a ritual now.
So
it's
many like
cool.
old and new faces, and it's just like y'all still coming down and throwing down for us. It's like the best thing ever, you know.
It's such a good feeling.
And I see what you guys are doing. I legit listen to all your music. It's fucking fire. I love that shit.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Because I think I was talking to you. It was like last year or something like that. I was talking to you and you were telling me you're coming out here. Because at first I think you guys were supposed to play Ironsides.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then you guys, and then I was like, okay, like I love you guys in Ironsides. It's just it's a difficult venue.
Yeah.
To be at.
Oh yeah.
And then when you're like, oh, we're actually gonna be playing at this place called the Mosaic. I was like, well, they're a sponsor. I know them motherfuckers.
Hell yeah.
And this place is sick. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
As soon as we walked in, I was like, yo,
it's a sick setup. I like it here.
huge.
Yeah, it's sick.
Because you pull into the parking lot and you're like, oh, this is gonna be a tiny venue, and then you walk in, you're like,
wasn't expecting it at all. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
not at all.
This is amazing.
yeah, because it just has like it's a perfect venue. It's like it has 3 sections. It has the section for the bands, it has a section for the merch, and then it has a section for the stage and all that shit. And it's a big area too.
It is. Yeah, it's huge. Yeah.
Yeah, this place is giant, and the snacks are cheap. That's why he was like, "Yeah, and you get a discount on snacks." And I was like, "How much lower can it go? Like, this is like already."
I'll take it.
So, yeah, I was like, "Dang." Yeah, I'll take it.
Oh yeah, because
Sold.
I wasn't like used to that, like this kind of like treatment. And then I even got like a weirder treatment when I went last month down to LA, and I interviewed, did 4 podcasts down there. One of them was with Fate Destroyed, and from another band from Vegas. I don't know why I'm forgetting. It was so recent, but from Zero to Hero.
Okay.
And doing it there, we did it at the House of Blues.
Nice.
Nice. That's awesome.
And the treatment I got there was very confusing. It's like I never even went to a show at House of Blues, and now I'm just coming here, going to the green room, and being like, "Hey."
Yeah.
And then this lady comes in and gives us like a menu, and was like, "Oh, order your food." And I was like, "What?" Like, we have a kitchen. Everybody here gets food, free food. Order your food. We have a fridge full of soda, beer, water. We have Jack vodka right here, finger
that's gnarly.
foods. I was like, "Holy shit!"
Showing up to the venue like, so what's your favorite part of the band?
It was just so nice, especially being at a venue that like legends have played at.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're just like, you're in this area with legends that have played there, and then like getting to know like the owner of the venue and meeting all these people. Because a lot of my friends, when I went down to LA, that was the first time I traveled. It was like risky to go down there and just take a chance. But I'm like, to this day, I'm like, it was fucking worth it.
Hell yeah.
That's
dude.
awesome.
That's freaking awesome. Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, House of Blues is one of those places, like, when, I know we kind of already covered this, but, like, in our hometown, like, we always play this kind of, like, smaller local venue, but that's one venue I would love to play is House of Blues out there, because I feel like there's such a level of, like, legitness, you know what I mean? Like, there's a pedigree, you know what I mean? Like, House of Blues is, like, that's the real deal.
I'll give you a contact after this. I think I can hook you guys up.
That would be so lit.
But continuing on the questions, I always ask every band this: what is your favorite, most craziest mosh pit you've seen or been in?
Ooh, that's a good one, actually.
Seen or been in? Okay, well, for me, the most recent, and I don't mosh often, but Polaris, like, I saw them in Seattle. They were at the Showbox was the name of the venue, and to anyone who's familiar, there's like there's like a ground floor level, and then there's an upper like circular area where all the bars are.
Yeah.
The entire ground floor level, you couldn't not be in the mosh pit. It was like insane. I had never seen. I was like, I didn't know people got like. I love Polaris, but I didn't know everybody loved Polaris like that. Like people were going crazy. And so they had like their last song that they played was Dissipate, and they were like, "What a fucking wall!" And like everybody just like, it was crazy. And so yeah, when the Wall of Death happened, like everybody was just going insane. That was my wildest mosh experience ever.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, it was lit.
For me, I would definitely have to go with Amir.
Oof.
Amir is something else. I remember because I was with Carl, our drummer, and I remember like he wanted to go in the pit, so I saw him go into like the Amir crowd.
Yeah.
And I didn't see him till the set was done. And when I saw him, his shirt was ripped up, his hair was like messed up. I think he might have had like cuts and bruises. I'm like, yeah, that looks about right.
Yeah,
like, it's like that looks about right. It's like
you should see the other guy.
Yeah.
And everybody else leaving is like, oh.
Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna have to say Amir for sure. It was probably the wildest one for sure.
Definitely the Acacia strain.
Oh, that's a good
The
one.
Acacia strain like hurts to watch. Like they're so good, but when you like watch, like literally, I was 18 with my friend Marcos, and I don't go in the pit at all. Like I've never been that guy. So what he comes up here. We were in like Marysville for Warped Tour, and it was like 2011 or something, like 2012, and he came up here from Vegas, right? So his parents are not able like to come get him if something happens, you know. So he's about to watch the Acacia strain. He's like, I'm going in the pit, and I was like, okay, dude. So I was hanging with our other friends outside of the pit, you know, just watching them. Like Acacia strain's fun to watch. Like they kick ass, you know. And then literally like Prada was playing in the next stage, so I was like, oh, I want to catch Prada. Like they're more my speed, right?
Yeah.
So I go watch them, and then my friends start calling me like backstage, and I was like, how did you guys get back there? Like, hell yeah! Like I want to watch Where's Prada backstage. And so like we get backstage, and I'm like just like yeah. And then like I look behind me, and my friends are like, dude, Marcos got knocked out, and I was like, what? You know what I mean? I was like, shut up. And then he's on a stretcher.
Oh,
you know, and I was like, and they're like, you have to follow us. Like, and I was like, oh shit. You know what I mean? So then we go all the way to the med tent. But when you go to the med tent, dude, you have to pass all of the bands and all of their like where they're hanging out, like where all their transportation is, right? And I literally see like the Sum 41 singer hanging out. I see We Came as Romans hanging out, like, and the word Alive. And I remember just being like, this is like the worst circumstance, but like, oh my god, I'm freaking out. Like, like these are all of my like favorite bands, like just hanging out. Like this is so cool. And then we get to the med tent area, and they're like, yeah, your friend might have a spinal injury. And I was like, and they're like, his parents might have to come get him. And I was like, well, they can't because they don't live here. And they're like, what do you mean? And I was like, they don't live in. This is Northern California. They live in Las Vegas. And they're like, oh no. And I was like, he's 18. Like it should be okay, right? And they're like, no, we need to release him to a relative. And then the doctor goes back, and then the nurse comes over, and she's like, it's not that dramatic. He's just old, and thinks like these people are getting more hurt than they actually are. So then we get my friend's dad. They're finally like, okay, we can release you guys, but we need an adult, like someone that's not you guys. And we were like, all right. So then our friend's dad was at the show, and then he comes, gets Marcos, and then afterwards I was like, damn, dude, you scared the shit out of us. And he's like, dude, Casey Strain's fucking nuts. And I was like, fuck. I was like, fuck, man. Like, but Casey Strain, fucking crazy.
Yeah, I can relate with that though, like that feeling of going backstage and like, because as a person, like I bet you can relate, you're growing up listening to people on like your iPod or MP3, and you're like,
all the time.
You're hearing their sound, you're envisioning these people, you're seeing these people, and then you grow up, you get older, and then you're like, then you get an opportunity to meet these people in real life, and you're just like, oh shit.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, because at the beginning you're like, oh, it's a person, and you see them face to face, you're like, then now like you're like going in the Rolodex of just like, I like this song from you, I like this song from you. But you're not trying to be like, you're just trying to be there like, hey, how you doing?
All chill about it, everything. Like, hey, yeah, no big deal or anything.
You saved my fucking life.
You saved my life.
Yeah, like literally, like it sucks because like you don't want to say
crying.
that, but then sometimes like that's all that comes out. Like when I met the ghost inside, I was like, you guys are really fucking cool, but also like you saved my life. You know what I mean? Like
That happened at this venue one time. I did some pre-show interview. This is when I was like at the beginning, and I met Tom from Chelsea Grin,
dope.
Oh shit.
and he was here. He was in town filming with his band Darko,
Oh, yeah, let's go.
and he just came to the show. Like this was like I think it was like the second or third show that ever happened at this venue, and he came to the show. And I was just like, and my one of my sponsors came up to me. He was like, "I want you to meet somebody." Takes me out, introduced me to him. I'm like, "Holy shit!"
Oh damn.
Get right. Yeah.
Yeah. And we ended up talking for like a fucking hour.
Fuck.
That's awesome.
And he's a really cool dude. He's a really nice dude.
That's always the best when they're
Yeah.
like
Those
some
are
of the
nice.
coolest people ever. Oh my gosh.
When they give you what you want, it's like you imagine them, but like some people will be like, "Oh, it's all good. I understand. Heard the same shit." But then you have those people that give you what they want.
Yeah.
You want to give that. They want to give you the same appreciation that you are giving them.
Yeah, it's such a cool feeling. That was like the first time that we saw the Color Morale play, like back in the day. It was like 10 years ago. They played this place called Eagle Airy Hall, and Devin, their guitar player, was like my writing inspiration at the time for the band that we were in, Azalea.
Yeah.
And we got to play with them, but we got to see them first, and I was like, dog, like, and me and the other guitar player in that band, we got to talk to him one-on-one, and we were like, you are the blueprint, dog. Like, you inspire the crap out of us. And he was like, nobody's ever said that to me before. And we got to take a picture, and I was like, it was such a wholesome feeling, you know, because he's so good. Like, it was so crazy.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about with that. It's really awesome.
I know that's like the dream one day. It's like someone to come up to me and be like, "I love it. You inspired me." Like that's like I could never imagine that feeling. Like the inspiration feeling of somebody walking up to you and saying going to a band or going to someone that just like you like in general.
Because you're just doing your thing.
Exactly.
It's not like, I mean, I think that's the beauty of it. It's like you're kind of just doing your thing.
Because it is a job, but it's not a job at the same time.
Yeah.
It's something it's a passion. But I want to because we're getting low on time, but
Yeah.
I want to get into the fact that Kanye stole fucking Ozzy Osbourne's tracks. I want to try to fuck you, Kanye, but because I want to get your guys' opinion on it. But in like my perspective, it's just like when someone says no, especially someone in like the GOAT of fucking rock
Yeah.
says no, you can't use my shit, and then goes around and then just does it, and then it ended up getting deleted anyways too.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's just like, why are you gonna now cause drama between somebody, especially somebody with that kind of level? But what's your guys' perspective?
Do you guys want to take that one?
Honestly, like I didn't even research that till you messaged me about it, and I was like, I checked it out, and I was like, you know, like I get it, you know, like you're a high-profile celebrity, artist, producer, like you get what you want, you know what I mean? So it's like when he didn't, you know, when Ozzy Osbourne was just like, yo, dog, I don't give a fuck who you are, you know what I mean? Like I could imagine that feeling like of like going back to when you first started as an artist and you feel that insecurity, and I think that's maybe why he felt like that, because like, you know, he works so hard to get to where he is now, right? But you know, like you get told no after like years of being told yes.
Yeah.
So it's like I can see why he's butthurt, but also it's like, yeah, dude, Ozzy Osbourne doesn't give a fuck, dude. Like that's why I loved that and I think like Ozzy Osbourne was right to like be like, no, dude, like because he has a choice and you also have a choice to not be a dick, and you chose to be a dick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, Ozzy Osbourne was totally correct in that situation, and I feel like Kanye West just needs to be told no more. Like,
Yeah, he seems like he has a bit of a complex. Obviously, I mean, I have no place to speak because I don't operate at that level, but it seems like he's got a bit of a complex, you know?
Yeah.
So,
And I think I respect Ozzy Osbourne nowadays. I mean, especially since he knows like he doesn't have like a great amount of time left.
sure.
He's especially like that's probably part of the reason he didn't want to give it to Kanye, because he didn't want to give permission to Kanye, and then like say he passes and he already gave permission and he starts fucking with the shit,
Yeah.
and then takes it into something negative, and then now it's negative on his
Ozzy
name.
Osbourne knows what he wants his legacy to be.
Exactly.
100%.
He wants it to be old, raw, original, nothing else. And that's why I'm so
Well,
happy.
and wasn't he? I mean, he said no on the basis of like the anti-Semitic comments, right? It wasn't necessarily musical. I also have not really done a ton of research. I saw it on Twitter.
It's more like he reached out to the manager for Ozzy and all of them and their team, and they told him like directly saying, no, we respectfully decline, and we're not going to allow that to happen. And like he even released, and then when he did it, because it wasn't like public, it wasn't like he's not going to be like, oh, Kanye tried to use my song, I said fucking no. But then he did it, so then Ozzy came out and was like, fuck this guy. Yeah. And then Kanye, like, all Kanye did was take a screenshot and was like, I don't know what he's butthurt about. Like, you don't fuck with Ozzy.
That's not a real legend.
Yeah.
100%.
100%.
You're like new money. He's old money.
Yeah.
Like, you don't fuck with, like, people that, like, literally started a genre, basically, and, like, gave that genre feet or, you know, something to stand on. You know what I mean? And, like, yeah, like, you don't mess with people that are that legendary.
Yeah. And then also, it's like, Kanye, he's done more drugs in a week than you could do in a lifetime.
Yeah. I wouldn't fuck with Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh, hell no. But I want to get into the last question for you guys.
Yeah.
But what's the story behind the creation of your song Devastate?
Nice. Talking about like lyrically?
It could be lyrically, because like there's a lot of like, because like with rock music, there's always deep meanings behind it. It could be like with depression or anything like that, with like childhood trauma. But like, what was like the creation of like writing it and like trying to master it and give it that emotion?
So, you know, obviously, like, I got to give it up to like Carl and Chance for always writing like the best, you know, instrumentals for the band. You know what I mean? And like Angela helps too, obviously, but the instrumentals always need to, you know, be on point, and like, you know, these guys always do a great job. I want to say that. Like, even Dustin, like, everyone does a phenomenal job instrumentally. Yeah. But, when I was writing that song, it was more so, like, I was just, like, writing from a place of, like, I don't even know how to, like, really explain it, but, like, it was just, like, a song. It's a song about, like, you know, being completely tired, and, like, you're just, like, you keep trying to search for a reason to, like, you know, like, find life to be worth it, as cheesy as that sounds, you know what I mean? But, like, you just can't, you know? And then, like, you have those small moments that, like, will just shake your fucking world and make you realize, like, oh, fuck, like, you know, I was looking for this, but through that journey, I found this.
Exactly.
And it's like, this is where I'm supposed to be. And, like, that's where the song kind of goes. Like, the chorus is always, like, I like to see it as like a positive affirmation to all the other stuff that's going on in the song. You know what I mean? It's always reminding you, like, you know, to just find the little bit of good that you have found along the way, even if you didn't get what you wanted. Yeah. You know, and like the song's just about like struggling with that feeling of like, you know, am I just destroying everything by like trying to get this, you know, or like, is it beneficial to me because I've also had all these unexpected things happen in my journey to get, you know, to where I want or get what I want. Like, you know, that's the whole point of the song is like, you know, am I destroying everything or am I like creating what I need? Subconsciously.
Because I think there's like a underside when it comes to trying to pursue music, especially metal music, where we've been doing this for half of our lives. Like this dream started in high school, you know, so it can be destructive because of the sacrifices that you have to make in your personal lives, financial lives. Like we're doing all of this ourselves, you know, like this is a DIY tour that Jeff goes out of his way to like book and build these connections, but we have to front everything. There's no label behind us, you know, like the payout is the one that we earn by showing up, but it's not really about that. That sustains the dream, but it's never about the dollar amount that we walk away with. And so like we've all had to sacrifice a lot, and there's days that it's like, dog, like how much further can you take this? But then like every time that we've come to that point, we go the next, you know, we just keep going. That's one thing that this band, more so than all of our, it's like all of our prior projects were a part of this too, though, you know. It's like it's
all culmination.
This is exactly, that's a great word for it. This is the culmination of everything that we've done, all the times that it was give up or go another round, and we said double down, double down, double down, you know. So it's tough, and I think that the whole album, like, that we're working on, there's a lot of that is like the bitterness a little bit of like having something that's so pure and sacred to us be under that kind of pressure, you know, like to succeed or not to succeed, and that takes a toll on our personal lives. Like, that's a tough battle to fight, you know.
Yeah, and then like this song too is, I feel like it's that point in our career too when, like, I remember when everyone was telling us that they had heard Devastate, they're just like, we were not expecting you guys to do that. Because the one that we released before this, Vecna, was heavy as balls. Like, that was hard-hitting, super heavy. And out of nowhere, we introduced clean vocals and all that, and just a different style of metal. And people weren't expecting it, but they're just like, but it makes sense for you guys. Like, you didn't completely stray away from what you are, but you're just introducing new elements and making it work. And so I just felt like at this point it was a great time for us to like introduce it and show more of what we could do, but not stray away from what Memoire started off as and is, you know. So
and I can relate that with that a lot with like podcasting and stuff. I mean, it may look like on the other side of the camera, or maybe some bands, it's just like you're showing up with a camera. But me doing this solo dolo, I have an audio engineer, but I'm doing all the scheduling with bands, hitting up venues, making sure I got permission. And I respect that shit. You know what I mean?
Like, 100%. Yeah, seriously.
Like, one other way to do stuff like this, it's so rare that when you meet those people and like you vibe, it's a good feeling. So like, I appreciate like your art for sure. Like,
and this year is definitely a challenge for sure at the most, because like last year I was very staggered. It was like maybe like 1 or 2 videos a month. Now this year I'm doing weekly, so it's a different band every week,
man. Yeah, for sure.
So it's very challenging, and it's like now it's like doing it weekly, and then like you know how it is as a band. You see equipment that you want or you need, and you need to get it, and that's like how I am. I'm on Sweetwater like once a week on that shit, just like, fuck, I wish I could buy that with $1,000, but I could do it on the payment plan.
Man, I feel
Carl spent hours on eBay, like, figure out everything possible.
Hey, I mean, work with what you got until it gets you what you want, dude.
Exactly.
Yep.
But all their stuff will be down the link below. Thank you guys again so much.
Hey, thank you guys. Thank you for having us, man. Seriously, it means a lot.
No problem. And go check their music out and give them, subscribe, check them out, follow them. And while you're down there as well, give me a like and subscribe. And we'll catch you next time, Mosh Pit.
Have a good one, you guys. Thanks for having us.